And we continue. Imam Az-Zarnuji rahimahullah, he says, the same attitude applies to all other occupations and professions. Anyone who works in a given field is duty bound to learn how to guard against what is forbidden therein. Okay? Here, he's saying that we should have knowledge, right, of that which is doubtful and that which is haram. We should safeguard our persons and our thoughts and our hearts from these things, right? So then he says, this is also obligatory with knowledge of the conditions of the heart, such as complete reliance on Allah, repentance, fear, satisfaction. In other words, knowledge of the states of the heart. Sheikh Ibrahim bin Ismail, who's one of the commentators on this text, he says, he makes a point. This is a detailed point, but it's important to understand how the ulama think. He says, look, this type of knowledge of the heart, we don't say that these are different branches when we mention different states. We don't say that the different states of the heart are branches of knowledge, so that we would divide each branch up and say that a person should be an expert in tawbah, another person should be an expert in tawakkul Allah, another person should be an expert in rida. In other words, a person should be an expert in repentance, another person should be an expert in the reliance upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and another person should be an expert in contentment. He says no. Each individual is obligated to understand the states of the heart. So in other words, we don't specialize in one state. We're obligated to understand the inner life, the conditions of the heart. The nobility of learning is not foreign to anyone, since it is something peculiar to all humankind. And that's a beautiful thing, that he's saying that knowledge is something that's valuable. All of humanity on a universal level see the benefit in learning. With the exception of knowledge, men as well as animals to some degree are associated with several virtues, such as valor, courage, strength, generosity, and compassion. In other words, he's making a point here that what dignifies the human being is learning and knowledge. What distinguishes the human being from animals is not virtue per se, but knowledge and learning. Because he's saying that some animals are courageous, some animals are brave, some animals are strong, and these things are, some animals are generous. These are virtues. It's a very interesting point, and it's a point which is to be considered, especially given the context of evolution and the understanding that the human being is an animal and only an animal. Here, Imam Az-Zarnuji rahimahullah, he's teaching us what is it that distinguishes the human being. And Aristotle says basically that the human being is a rational animal. But if we were to say that some animals reason, then what are we to say of the human being? Is the human being a rational animal then? Or the only rational animal if we find that some animals do reason? So here Imam Zarnuji takes it beyond reason. He says no, learning. And then he has dalil. He says, look, through learning, Allah revealed the preeminence of Adam alayhi salam over the angels, whom he commanded to prostrate themselves before this first human being. Learning is indeed noble, for it leads to a fear of Allah, to taqwa. What is taqwa? What is taqwa? Taqwa is to do that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enjoins upon us, and to abstain from that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbids us. This is not a very complex definition. This definition is the definition which was put forth by Sheikh Abu Bakr al-Jazairi in his tafsir Aysar Tafsir. And it's a good definition because it's very, very, very clear. And it's devoid of ambiguity and complexity, making taqwa a concept which is incomprehensible. No, this definition makes taqwa something which is very clear. And we will continue, inshallah, in the next